There's only one name to remember.
Mumtaz Leeds.
Relax in our newly refurbished Riverside restaurant.
Enjoy exquisite home cooking from our brand new menu. Upgrade to the Mumtaz Leeds experience.
And the price? Well, we're better value than ever before.
Mumtaz Leeds, Chadwick Street, Leeds, LS10 1PJ. Call 0113 242 4211.
Free car parking available.
अगर मूड हो मुस्तनद और मायारी देसी खाने का तो आजमाएं लिंकन रोड पर देसी रेस्टोरेंट। दिन का आगाज देसी नाश्ते के साथ हलवा पूरी, चने, निहारी, पाए, पराठा और आमलेट हर रोज सुबह 7 बजे से दिन 1 बजे तक। एक मजेदार और स्वादिष्ट लंच के लिए कबाब, सैंडविच, तंदूरी डिशेस, बल्ती डिशेस, बिरयानी और बहुत कुछ। दिन 1 बजे से शाम 5 बजे तक हमारी खास डिशेस, देसी तवा या हमारी ताज़ा हांडी, 1 kg बेबी चिकन, लैम का गोश्त हड्डी के साथ। ऑर्डर पर तैयार कराएं। ईट इनसाइड, टेक वे के लिए फ्री डिलीवरी। पूरा मेन्यू देखने के लिए और ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करने के लिए हमारी वेबसाइट पे जाएं desirestaurant.co.uk। 60 नशिस्तों की गुंजाइश के साथ और एक प्राइवेट फंक्शन रूम, कैटरिंग सर्विस भी दस्तयाब। डोंट फॉरगेट देसी रेस्टोरेंट, 298 लिंकन रोड, पीटरब्रो, PE1 2ND। कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर 555795।
This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio, broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
It's now 6 o'clock.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Peterborough Property Guys. You're on Salam Radio. Hope you've had a great start to the week. You're with myself, Qasafi Sadiq, the host of today's show. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Peterborough Property Guys on Salam Radio. Hope you've had a great start to the week. You're with myself, Qasafi Sadiq, the host of the Property Guys, alongside my 2 co-hosts, one being Adam Cooper, who's been with me from the start, and our new co-host who's going to be with us on a monthly basis, James Dawson. Good afternoon, guys.
How you getting on, Qasafi? All right?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you, boys?
Very well.
We're expanding quick, eh?
I'm really glad to have another, property expert on our show, such as James Dawson from Wilson & Co. Homes, that's right, not estate agents.
No.
Wilson & Co. Homes Limited. So it's really good to have another estate agent talking about property, so another reason for people to tune in. So guys, we're bringing to you on Salam Radio every Tuesdays at our new times, 6 p.m. our show, the Peterborough Property Guys. We are now live on Salam Radio on 106.2 FM. You can listen to us online by visiting salamradio.co.uk or watch the show on our streaming services by searching Salam Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram or Twitter. If you do prefer mobile, then please download the Salam Radio app through the App Store or Google Play. Salam Radio is always on air 24/7, 365, uniting all communities. You can also rewatch the repeat of the show if you missed it by searching Salam Radio on our streaming services. So, as I mentioned, today's guest is James Dawson from Wilson & Co. Homes Limited, who also is our second co-host. So he's our new addition to the Property Guys. So guys, if you've got any questions, then do get involved by dialing the studio number on 01733 602 133, or you can text or WhatsApp on 077 45 278 978. And as you probably can, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, then you could see James and Adam giving you a wave now. And myself.
Hi guys.
So do join us on Facebook. If you've got any questions, then please do ask, and we'd be more than happy to answer to our best of our knowledge. So our topics to be just discussed today will be which street in Peterborough has seen the most homeowners move in the last 3 years. Also, we're going to be discussing Peterborough homeowners sell their home nearly a quarter more than the UK average. But as we do every week, we ask our main guy, Adam Cooper.
I thought we were talking about James there.
His turn will come soon.
Part-time mate.
His turn will come soon, but we'll have to learn from the best. Adam Cooper, tell our listeners and our viewers why they should tune in every week to listen to the Peterborough Property Guys talk about the Peterborough property market.
So then, guys, just like Qasafi said, we've got local experts on. We're growing as a team as well. We've got the likes of James here. James is an expert in his field as well. Because, guys, we want to make sure you can keep up with the ever-changing property market in Peterborough. Not just the trends, but the regulations, the way the market moves. And we know it's tough. So why not listen to us every Tuesday between 6 and 7 so we can bring all that knowledge into one place from local experts who are actually in the market. Not just theoretically, actually in the market day to day. So, guys, don't go it alone. Knowledge is power, and let's do this journey together.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Adam. Much appreciated. So, guys, before we start our discussing our topics, here are the headlines for today. Fresh reports show that Longthorpe and Netherton are classed as the most expensive places to buy in Peterborough. 30 years in the making, the prestigious Fletton Keys site is now at its final stages. Latest report shows that another landlord has been fined for failing to license a HMO. Adam, you're in the HMO sector.
It wasn't me. we license ours.
But yeah, that's another report that we've got. So it's quite surprising.
No, it's not surprising, is it? I think there's a lot of people doing it incorrectly. Obviously, Adam is a prime example of doing it correctly, but there's a lot that don't, unfortunately.
Another reason why people should tune into the Property Guys, because we've got experts like Adam Cooper who specialises in HMOs. You can call him the HMO Daddy.
No, there's actually a guy with the HMO Daddy title. We retract that. Copyright and all that.
Fair enough.
But going to the landlords being fined and whatever, I think quite a lot of the time it's actually not for want of doing something wrong. I don't think they know any better. Is that fair comment?
Precisely.
I think it's a really fair comment, James. Because there's so many landlords out there who don't realise the regulations on a single let property, let alone a HMO. It's all well and good people doing it themselves. Hats off to them. More power to them. But guys, you must be educated on this because it's some serious fines if you get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially here with HMOs, it's a criminal fine, isn't it, rather than a civil fine. So that's really important for landlords to be wary of. Even more important, why they should give the property asset to a reputable estate agent or letting agent to manage. So those who know the law. But yeah, so guys, do WhatsApp your thoughts on this matter. If you've got any questions or suggestions on 07745 278 978. We want to ask you today, how stressful was your last home move experience and how could you have planned it better? And this is based on our topic, which streets in Peterborough have seen the most homeowners move in the last 3 years. So guys, do tune in, share with us your thoughts and your experience and when you last moved home. And you can comment on Facebook Live or you could WhatsApp on 07745 278 978. But do get involved. We'd love to hear your experience because it'd be really good for other people to know how they could plan ahead. And this is what this show's about, is giving people, these kind of golden nuggets. So when they do decide to move home and you're tuning in right now, you could take something away with you. So lots of people say moving home is one of the top 10 most stressful events in your life. Fortunately, there's a way to mitigate your stress. In a nutshell, start as early as you can. Plan ahead and do everything you can to make it easy on yourself, your family, and even the family pet if you've got one. As an estate agent in Peterborough, myself and my team help homeowners and landlords buy and sell all the time. So I thought it'd be really important and ideal to share these top tips for making your move as stress-free as possible. But before we do, as we mentioned, which streets have seen the most homeowners move? Give us the top tip when moving home, Adam.
So then, guys, as Qasafi said, it is all about being prepared and planning in advance for these things. The average sale at the minute takes between 15 and 20 weeks. But guys, we know how fast that flies in the busy world we're living in nowadays. 15, 20 weeks goes like that. So guys, write a list, get everything prepared, get everything organised, because it's going to come. You don't want to be rushing around on a move day. Exchange and completion is stressful enough.
Absolutely.
Believe me.
Yeah.
And next, get yourself a decent removal company. Now, after all that headache, you don't want to take the joy out of finding a new home, having to drag all them boxes around an old van you rented. You've got to get it back by a certain time. Plan ahead, give yourself a bit of breathing space, and take some of the weight off.
Brilliant, amazing. James, any tips that our listeners could benefit from when moving home?
Decluttering. Massive. Whenever I go out and see people and we talk about them moving and whatever you say, I know it's a stressful thing to move home, but one humongous advantage to everybody is that they're going to get the opportunity to declutter. Ideally do that before you put your home on the market, because it'll help present it in a better light, and therefore easily be more sellable, but also for your benefit when you come to move. Obviously less clutter, less stuff to move, so that's a really, really useful tip. Declutter. Other thing that you need to think about is utilities. You need to make sure you let all utility providers know that you're actually leaving. Keep electronic copies of everything, just rather taking paper form, put it all on a USB stick. Really, really handy. Make sure that you've got all your important documents in place, passports, banks, and you're letting people know you're changing, obviously, address and what have you. So those kind of things will ease the stress when it comes towards the end of your move.
Most importantly, don't leave things on the last minute.
No.
I've had a vendor who's started to declutter on the day of exchange.
Oh, that was.
I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
And I went there, and he needed more time. But anyways, that's a long story. I'm more than happy to speak about that in more details at a later stage. But do not leave things on the last minute. I mean, on the day of moving, home stress levels will be high. And I know you want to get everything packed away and, home for tea by 5:30. I mean, let's be honest, that's never going to happen.
No.
So guys, be realistic, and it's doubtful that you're going to be unpack all your boxes in your new home by the first day. So Adam, what would be another useful tip?
What I like to, guys, whenever I'm moving home, I went for a phase a few years back. I moved 4 times in a year. So I've got a bit of experience.
Wow.
Keep a survival pack. It sounds crazy. You're going to go, Adam, why do you need a survival pack to move home? But guys, like Qasafi's saying, when you get in that new home, that night, it's all about, it's like finding shelter, isn't it? You get your bed up, you get somewhere to sleep, you get your essentials out, and that is it. So what a better way to pack everything like that, your toiletries, some biscuits, some water, your kettle, tea, coffee, crisps, everything, Some will even pack a bit of gin and tonic, but, that's when it gets stressful. That's when you're done. But yeah, pack all that so you have it at the ready. Because there's nothing worse than every single box to find, like a spoon or something silly like that. And it's so frustrating. And you end up just ordering takeaway. But because it's going to take a few days to unpack. But like I say, as long as by the end of the day you got your bed set up for you, your kids, you got your food there ready, it's so much less stressful. Brilliant, absolutely.
So, which street or road in Peterborough, which is our topic, to be precise, in P1 has put themselves through one of the most stressful moments in their lives over the last 3 years. So which street has seen the most home moves and experienced the trials of moving homes, James?
So, surprisingly, when I saw these figures, it's Vicarage Farm Road.
Wow. Okay.
Comes in at the top spot. 104 home movers in the last 3 years, the last 36 months, with a total property value of over £11.5 million sold.
Wow.
Interestingly, this is really interesting, is that there's only 115 properties on that road.
Wow. it's also mainly
So you work that one out.
It's also mainly apartments, is it not?
It is. I think it's the only houses, the only residential dwellings on that street.
But 115, but 104 of them have changed hands in the last 3 years. So
wow.
It's interesting, isn't it? That's really interesting because I don't know. I'm sure you guys see them as well. They're really nice apartments.
Yeah. So anyway, they are really nice. But I think it's obviously it's a place where maybe people start their property journey and move on quite quickly. So should we have a look at the top 20?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
see if your street see if any of the listeners in this listening to the show, if their street features.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it.
Good. Okay, so who's going to go through these? Order.
If you want to fire off.
Me? What?
Yep.
What do you want me? All of them?
Yeah, let's go from the top 20 most sellable.
Top 20.
Yeah.
I won't read all the facts and figures are out. But the top 20, obviously, we've got Vicarage Farm Road, and then we've got Park Road. This didn't surprise me. I thought that was quite a sort of high mover. 72 properties sold in the last 36 months. Wow. Lincoln Road, again, I thought, given the road that it is, that there'd be a lot of transactions down there.
Yep.
66 properties sold in the last 36 months with almost £10 million value. You've got St Michael's, closely followed by St Michael's Gate. then Priestgate. Then there's a bit of a drop really, and we're sort of down to 38 properties selling over the last 3 years, and that's over at Eastfield Road, Hartley Avenue. And speaking of Hartley Avenue, you've got Hartley Avenue and Hammond's Drive in there, which are the Connect 21 site, which is how long's that been up now? 12, 10, 12? No, not even that.
Nah, it's not about
8.
Yeah, about 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, not too long.
So yeah, they've been there 8 years. Then High Road, Meaden Vale, Gladstone Street. Hammond's Drive, just mentioned it. Dogsthorpe Road, Welham Road, Broadway, Eastern Avenue, Huntley Grove, Visionplatz, Cromwell Road. That sounds familiar. Where's that? And then we've got Padham Road and Eaglesthorpe. So yeah, they're the top 20 in respect to people who've sort of moved the most, and properties that have moved the most in the last 3 years.
I just want to analyse that a little bit more, because we mentioned the Vicarage Farm Road as the top. So that's more of a kind of an industrial commercial estate, isn't it?
You know what I think it is? It's because obviously they built all them new apartments, didn't they, from the old Frank Perkins head office.
Right, okay.
And of course, every sale would have been a transaction, wouldn't it?
Ah, okay.
Yeah, quite possibly,
They
actually.
do change hands a lot, don't they, there as well, to be fair.
But putting that aside, I mean, looking at Park Road.
Yeah.
So it's like the most busiest roads are seeing the most transactions.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say that is?
Neighbours. Definitely neighbours. I know some crazy people live on Park Road.
That's the second thing today, Adam.
No, you know what it is? They must get fed up, after a while, like, of the traffic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's that convenience at first, isn't it? But I imagine once you no longer need that convenience, say you change jobs, different situation in life, it becomes a hindrance rather than a convenience anymore.
I feel like we should put out disclaimers saying that these roads are all great roads to live on, and that you don't need to move if you live here. Because it's like
100%.
Why do they sell so much? Because I don't know.
Saying that, Park Road, there's a lot of flats, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
A lot of big houses.
A lot of the big houses
Flats.
have been converted into flats. So yeah.
You know what really gets me though is St Michael's Gate. I'm really surprised at that. 59.
But, isn't there recently an issue with the council? And
But was it sold though? I thought everyone got evicted and went to emergency housing. Maybe they did sell it to a different company.
see, there was a headline on the news recently on the People Today that
Okay.
they overspent on purchasing that. The council did.
No way.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
How much?
I'll have to
Do you
get the
remember?
article, but
Sorry,
it was,
put you
it
on the
was
spot.
it was quite a significant amount.
Wow.
So, hey ho. But yeah, I think one of the factors is that the bigger the road, the more transactions you see. Obviously, if you go down all the way to kind of Eaglesthorpe, it's kind of a small cul-de-sac area. One, it being quiet, and secondly, it's not as big as the likes of Park Road and Lincoln Road. So,
Lincoln Road's massive, isn't it?
well, as we mentioned before, it goes all the way down to Glinton, doesn't it? So it's quite a huge road.
I think people are always disillusioned with Lincoln Road. Because I know when I think of Lincoln Road, I think of City Centre Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
You don't think of Lincoln Road as in Glinton, do you?
Or Warrington? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
Yeah. So, swiftly moving on to our next topic. Peterborough homeowners sell their home nearly a quarter more than the UK average. Before we go on to that, do you guys want to add any more onto maybe any more tips you want to give for, when you're moving homes for homeowners?
I think when you're moving home, a bit like James touched on as well, the uncluttering stuff, you'd be amazed how many stuff you don't actually want. And even new furniture, you may so much furniture you're not actually going to take to your new homes because it's not going to fit, or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I think getting prepared early, like James says, obviously don't sell all your stuff and sit on the floor, but declutter, get rid of the big bulky furniture items first, so you can still sell and make some money on them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Start. I mean, I've seen that before actually. Somebody that we helped move, they started selling all their bits and bobs off, so to speak, and I think they said they sold something ridiculous like about 60 plus items.
Wow.
On either Facebook or eBay or something like that. 60, decent size. I'm not talking about £5 things, but decent size items.
Yeah.
But and then that was an advantage of planning early.
Yeah.
So
I think another tip I would like to give is if you are going to be relocating at the city, then definitely have a long exchange date. between exchange and completion.
Exchanging, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's out of your hand, but if you can, ideally.
Yeah, absolutely. Because recently had a vendor who exchanged and had to complete in 2 days. He had 2 days to literally declutter and arrange for a removal van, etc. And he was quite hasty himself. He wanted to kind of just get out of, just move into his new city, new home, obviously register his kids to the new school and stuff. So I could see it from his point of view, but he really put himself to a very, very difficult situation.
That's the thing, and the issue is as well. I mean, I know one of my clients just purchased a house over in Warrington, and the guy had moved pretty quick again like this. There's no need because he moved into rented, but when we got in there, got in a loft, got in the garden, it was full to the brim of stuff. And of course, he didn't have to pay. Obviously, of course, it's vacant possession, so he didn't have to pay for someone else or a contractor to come and remove it. And of course, he's kind of at their mercy at that point because the solicitors are putting pressure on him to clear it because he's kind of gone against what they agreed. And then you're at the mercy of a contractor going, well, I'll name my price. And you never want that.
True.
So guys, all check your lofts as well. There's loads of crazy stuff up there as well.
There's been programmes made about that, hasn't there? What people find in the lofts.
I've got a lot of stuff in my loft. I've not had a chance to look at it, to be fair. I had a build up there once because of a new electric kind of circuit. He went up there, he goes, my God, you don't want to go up there. But hey ho.
Shut the hatch and forget about it.
So the average homeowner in the UK moves every 20 years. So what has that been like in the past, Adam?
Well, I went back through the figures, Qasafi, and the average in the 70s and 80s was around every 10 to 11 years. I mean, we kind of increased in the 1990s to the mid-teens, in terms of years, how often you move. So, but in the early part of the millennium, it dropped again to the low teens. So when we had the credit crunch years of 2008, 2009, 2010, obviously it shot up to every 25.3 years and has steadily decreased ever since 2018 figure of 18.7 years. So it goes to show we're not moving as much as we were before, which is interesting. It almost begs the question as to why. Is it affordability or is it people just staying in their homes longer and doing more work to them? So we touched on the permitted development rights before, didn't we, on this? And maybe people are staying longer, improving their homes. Yeah. Because looking at this graph, you guys can't see the graph, but the graph shows the economy has improved after the credit crunch. British homeowners start to move home more and more, and probably taking advantage of the high demand and lower supply in the housing market to sell their homes and move on to the next property. Now, most of Peterborough and British homeowners are often more not buyers as well. So, it can't be the real cause. As I mentioned already, people in the 70s and 80s moved a lot more than today.
Would you say one of the reasons is because better homes are being built? So people are kind of feeling more...
Yeah, I think obviously
like home?
There's a lot of incentives, obviously, for people to get involved with new builds as well, which obviously adds to encouragement.
Oh, definitely. It's a novelty, isn't it? Everyone wants something new.
Yeah.
With part
big
exchanges
shiny
as well.
new thing syndrome. Yeah.
Exactly. Part exchanges. It's like chopping in your car, isn't it? You go chop in your house. You get a nice shiny new one. Who doesn't want a shiny new house?
I'll reserve comment.
So why is the long-term average length of time between moves since 2000 still much higher than it was in the preceding 30 years, James?
I think for existing homeowners, they've said sort of the lack of appetite to move home, obviously compared to the 70s, 80s, might come move up the housing ladder after a few years, like first-time buyers, landlords, and they just buy another property. Really, it's I think this graph says a lot. As Adam touched on it a while ago, which people can't see, where obviously the crash was, and then just gradually the years of people moving down. The years are moving down over the length of time, obviously, that people are staying at homes. So yeah.
But as bad as it sounds, on the crash, I see the graph. Do you reckon that was the case of people getting repossessed and investors buying more properties, hence why the graph sort of spiked so heavily there? There would have been a lot of people taking advantage of the cheap deals on the market. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who lost their homes at the same time due to interest rates.
Yeah.
People settling down more.
It's various factors, isn't it? You could say that it's the reason why a lot of people are not moving as much.
Well, it's just you can see the graph, it flies up. I mean, it absolutely flies
it does,
up.
doesn't it?
Literally, it looks like no one ever moved up until 2005, and everyone went, you know what, let's go. And then it's like James saying, it's slowly steadying out now. It looks like it's finally getting to a smooth pattern again.
Let's take 10 years. Let's take
10 years.
Interesting, really interesting. So Adam, if you want to shine some light on why the long-term average length of times between moves since 2000 is still much higher than it was in the preceding 30 years.
Well, like I say, I think it is a lot to do with the new laws we have. Like I say, the new stuff like permit development on our homes, so we can now improve our homes a lot easier to suit our needs. Because like James said, a new build's not for everyone. It's going to be for certain people. And certain people like Victorian properties as well. So with all that sort of stuff, it really incentivises us to stay longer. With our economies expanding so much as well in our local areas, especially in the likes of Peterborough, we're seeing so much investment here. There's not really that much need to move unless you need to relocate or you need to upsize. But again, you can always do the extensions. Because like I say, looking back on the figures back in the 70s and 80s, things were very, very different there. Of course, we've got my generation now as well, the younger generation who aren't buying homes anymore. We're generation rent, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, absolutely.
So of course, and we established before, a lot of them are staying with their parents for a lot longer and almost inheriting the homes as opposed to purchasing the homes or buying the homes with the inheritance.
It's weird why that is happening because, like James mentioned, there's a lot of incentives going around with the new Halifax 100% mortgage.
Yeah, that's back out recently, isn't it?
Shared ownership. So many incentives out there for first-time buyers to get onto the property ladder, but yet you get in a generation where they prefer renting.
I think it's a commitment factor, isn't it? It really is. People are scared of big commitments nowadays, and a mortgage is a big commitment, especially in younger generations' eyes. So I think they like the fact they can be mobile. They can get up and go whenever they need to. That's what I see in my tenants anyway.
Yeah.
So guys, we're going to be going on a break in the next 30 seconds. So just to recap on some of the topics we've discussed. And we still haven't had any comments with the question that we proposed.
Shame on the listeners.
Guys, get involved. We want to know how stressful was your last home move experience and how could you have planned it better? Guys, get involved on Facebook Live. Give us your comment. We'd love to hear it, and it'd be good for our other listeners to help them prevent that happening when their time comes to move. So, guys, we're going to go for a short break. Do come back.
You're listening to Salam Radio, and it's now time for Isha Azan. This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي
أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back.
It's now 6:30.
Property guys.
Qasafi, you love this, don't you? You just love playing an advert.
I did say to Amir that he needs to
Every
give
time.
us he needs to give us a little tune, when we start the show. So I need to do a bit of my own.
6:30 again. That was gold.
I gotta improvise. So Amir, if you're listening right now, Amir Sullivan, that is. If you're listening right now, then we're serious about getting a tune for our beginning of a show and the start of
What, a little jingle?
A little jingle, yeah.
I don't mind the 6:30 PM thing though. To be fair, it's quite catchy.
Dinner time, and we're sat here.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the show. Just to give you a recap on what we were discussing, which streets in Peterborough have seen the most home movers in the last 3 years, and surprisingly, Vicarage Farm Road. That's the one.
Vicarage Farm Road.
Yeah, that's what came up top of the list. Just before, in fact, we got Park Road, and then we got Lincoln Road, and then right at the bottom, top 20, we got Eaglesthorpe. The other topic that we were discussing were Peterborough home owners sell their home nearly a quarter more than the average UK average. So we had a poll on Instagram to ask people if they found their last property move stressful, and according to Michelle, our station manager, we've got a 60% in the favour of it was a very stressful time.
60?
Yeah.
I think that's quite low.
That's quite low.
I was expecting 70, 75.
People aren't they're not remembering the pain, no, that's what it is.
No, the thing is with the move, at the end, I know it's stressful, I know it's not the most enjoyable time, but the end result, most of the times, is like, and you're right, pain can be hidden by happiness. So, okay, I suppose, fair comment.
So, guys, just to remind you, we're going to have James joining us as our new co-host once a month.
First Tuesday.
The first Tuesday of every month, we're going to, have the privilege of having James on our show.
Privilege. Behave.
Very
me.
Very honoured.
They're not.
Not meant to tell him that.
and we've got another property expert who's going to be talking about the property market. So we're going to make the second part of the show a little different, as we normally do. We normally have a guest, and we talk about the guest, and we ask the guest questions about his background and how he started property, and we just chuck a whole lot of questions at them. But this time round, we're going to make it a little different. We're going to talk about the guys who actually host the show, The Property Guys. Our backgrounds, because it's really important that the people who are listening, they know who we are. I know our first show was about us. It was about what we do as a living, how long we've been doing it for, where our expertise lay. But I think it's our 16th show today.
Is it? 16?
16th show. Time does fly.
It does.
So I think
it's could have moved home in that time.
Yeah. I think it's about time we reminded our listeners about who we are, our backgrounds. So, as your name's Adam, and it begins with the A, let's start off with yourself. Adam, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
My name's Adam, begins with an A, just so you all know. But yeah, I run a specialist HMO management agency and conversion agency. So I realised a few years ago that there's a massive amount of landlords who want to do this kind of strategy, who, like we mentioned earlier, just they want to comply and they want to meet regs and they want to give good homes, but they don't necessarily have the knowledge for it or even the time. They may have the money for it. So we're there to fill the gap in the market, guys. We're there to hold your hand right through the whole process. We deal with many first-time HMO landlords and make sure they produce a good quality product which tenants love. A product which complies mainly as well, which the council love. And a product which fulfills their financial needs as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's all about. That's why I love property, because property, it's a win-win all round if it's done correctly.
Definitely. I mean, as we mentioned earlier in our headlines, one of the landlords got fined, running a HMO below standards, So that's where you could really differentiate and put your services out there and say, guys, look, you know what, I'm here to help.
Oh man, I'm here to help. My whole team's here to help. Even if it's just advice that you need, guys, come in, stop for a coffee. I'll happily advise you. You'll be bored of me in the end. Yeah, so trust me.
I was speaking to a landlord during the week, and he's doing a HMO conversion, and I kind of mentioned your name. I said, look, I've got a friend of mine. He's got a lettings company, HMO. He's a HMO specialist, and he basically renovates houses and makes them into luxury apartments. And he's like, okay, wow. When you say luxury, what do you mean? Like, give him a call and speak to him.
Yeah, really high-end boutique products, eh?
Yeah. So, going maybe 5-7 years back, my kind of mentality of a HMO was, ooh, I have to share a bathroom. Oh, I have to share a kitchen with someone. Great. I have to hear a noisy neighbour. Thin walls.
Tell you what, my
was it hostel, or was that your imagination of a HMO?
I don't know. I've seen some pretty grim ones in my time.
Adam, come on.
Honestly,
tell us what your HMOs are like.
They're awesome.
God, my HMOs are better than the house I live in. Literally, better than the house I live in.
Yeah.
They all any ones that I do, especially the ones I do personally, all come with smart TVs, modern luxury furniture. They've got everything.
Jacuzzis.
Nearly jacuzzis. It's regulations, health and safety and all that. We can't do it. The jacuzzi and the helipads are coming next. That's my next innovation we're going to do. For now, we're aiming on the boutique rooms.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, God, our furniture for rooms, our rooms alone, individual rooms, it's just shy of £1,000 a room just for the furniture.
Wow. I mean, one of the issues landlords have is that it's a trust factor on tenants.
It is.
So how do you kind of mould that into having giving a luxury room to a tenant and kind of vetting them to make sure they're the right person for the room?
Well, we go through quite a stringent process. So not just with tenants, but with landlords as well, because it works both ways. So, I mean, we'd probably turn down more landlords than we take. Same with tenants. If a tenant's not going to be the right fit for a house, chances are we're going to have the right house for them. Or if it's not the right fit for a HMO, we're going to have maybe a bedsit, which might work quite well.
Right.
Still within a shared house, but it gives them that privacy. Because everyone's different.
Would you say you kind of aim at a different clientele?
We do. We definitely aim at a higher clientele. I mean, the HMOs we produce, they're not the cheapest to rent, but they're probably the best quality around, I'd like to say. And, yeah, so we get the best quality tenants, I'd like to think.
Brilliant. I guess that's what people want. They want quality living. At a good price. And I think, if you've got a HMO, does the HMO normally come with your own WC facility? Or
I'd say 9 out of 10 are new ones we do all come with their own WC, own shower, everything in their room, and normally a little tea station as well. Where you got your little fridge, you got your storage for your food as well. You got a sink.
Really good.
You can have a lot of your stuff in your room, so you can probably keep 90% of it there. And you go socialise and share and cook proper meals in a big kitchen, like when you want to.
Yeah.
Because I'm always with the ethos of, I have a long day at work. I don't always want to socialise with people. Some days I just want to go home, just shut the door and be done, and just say nothing. Yeah. I think that's what I like to try and cater for, is everyone.
How long have you been doing the sort of the higher end HMOs, Adam?
Doing it. We opened 27th December 2017.
So almost 2 years you've been doing the higher end of the market.
Exactly.
Just out of interest, it's just popped into my head, I thought I'd ask you, is the void less with the higher end stuff?
A lot less.
Yeah,
I mean,
doesn't surprise me.
I had one on Queen's Walk, for example. It was one of my smaller ones. It was a little bedsit, and a girl from Liverpool paid the reservation fee before they even saw it, because they'd obviously been watching the market. She had to relocate for work, and then when she came over, I said, look, I was teaching about the area, let me teach you where everything is. And she goes, Adam, I'm going on holiday tomorrow for 2 weeks. She says, I'm literally here to pick up the keys and pop my stuff in a room, and that is it.
Wow.
I just wanted a room.
Good.
So no voids. Literally, since it's been built, we filled that whole place in 4 days.
Yeah, that's good. And at the end of the day, when for landlords' purpose, all they want is really decent tenants and zero voids.
Well, that's what it is, and they get it. And
Yep.
believe it or not, the room was spotless. Absolutely spotless, because the tenants take care of it, because they realise.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's such a lovely
There's something to
feeling
be
as
said
well.
for that.
It really is, yeah. I'm really blessed to have that kind of tenant, that kind of landlord who will do that kind of work to a property as well.
Brilliant. I always say to my landlords, look, if you look after your house, if you provide a good property, you'll most likely get a good tenant for it. So good houses attract good tenants.
They really do, and speed of repairs as well, guys. I feel like that's one of the biggest tenant bugbears.
Yeah.
Cleanliness and speed of repairs. So the other day we had a big 5-ring, beautiful, brand new AEG burner smashed. It smashed. An extractor hood dropped off, smashed it, £550.
Yeah.
Boom. Got one ordered, back in the next day. Portable hob sat there, old hob removed.
Service.
And, it's some little things.
Yeah.
And even the tenants were like, wow. And that was not an easy thing to track down, but we know that the inconvenience it causes. It's not the tenant's fault.
Yeah.
Accidents happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And we want to do our absolute utmost to make sure they're not inconvenienced, because, again, we like to put ourselves in their shoes. I think with anything in life, you think, how do you want to be treated? And you reflect that in what you're doing, and that's your ethos. Like you'll get on well.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely human nature touch too, isn't it? Just doing things like you're treating other people like you treat yourself.
Exactly.
Or you want to be treated. So I think that's a really good service that you provide. So tell us a bit about what is your day-to-day duties?
Cool, I'm everything. I'm right from my mum of the house to the cleaner. Generally speaking, I've got a really fantastic team behind me.
Brilliant.
So generally, my job is the main job is converting these houses. Dealing with the landlords, making sure we get the best quality conversion, the most functional conversion.
Yeah.
Which is a good price. The value of the property is going to be uplifted as well as a result, and the tenants are genuinely going to enjoy it. I mean, I know I looked at one. Actually, James had a client who was interested in looking at potential conversion, and I was just chatting with the client today, and I said, look, we could save a bit of money on the kitchen by not opening a big wall up, and we could make a second little lounge. But I advised the client, I said, look, although it was probably save a few grand, the actual functionality of the property afterwards is not going to be as good, and while we may save like 2,000 to 5,000 there, it's much better to spend it now and have a really good high function HMO that'll last for years, as opposed to having an okay one that can get outdated and outmarketed quicker. So it's all about, again, it's just thinking through that. So my job is really the brains behind the conversions and thinking about racking them, thinking about how best we can make it the best place to live.
See, I had a landlord this week who asked me a question. Is like, I'm looking to convert my property into a HMO. Will it increase my property value?
If it's done right, it will increase it astronomically.
Yeah.
I'm just doing one myself at the minute for myself, a rare one. I very rarely get the chance to do my own ones anymore, but I'm doing one. The purchase price is $290, and on a commercial value afterwards, it'd be worth just shy of 500,000.
Wow!
Because of the uplifted value, because it's now based on the rental income as opposed to the bricks and mortar value. That means I can pull all my money back out and I can buy another one.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. So the landlord won because I was actually able to pay asking price for his house. So we're not all of us investors have to bat everyone down. I paid him asking price. He had a good house. It worked for me. It didn't work for other investors, but it worked for me because I'm using this strategy. And I'll be able to house 7 tenants there, in boutique luxury rooms.
Awesome.
And again, the neighbours love it as well. So, of course, neighbours, the minute they hear HMO, go, whoa, HMO,
the panic.
Beds in rooms. They think bunk beds like times 6 per room.
Yeah.
And I show them around it. I give them my card to take a look at the stock. I show them around at the end, and they're always blown away. And that is one of the best feelings, knowing that the neighbour of potential what they thought was going to absolutely ruin their lives come around and they go, oh my god, I can't believe it looks like this inside here now. You'd never know. And that's my aim. If a house looks like a HMO from the outside, we failed.
Fair enough.
Brilliant. Is there anything else that you want to add, Adam, to yourself?
No, I'm just a genuinely great guy.
What you like after work?
Sleeping. Pretty much.
Recover mode, right?
I work that many hours that after work is just bed. Bed and food.
Yeah.
I get the gym in sometimes, but normally in the morning.
Yeah. What's the secret to your success?
More coffee. That's what it is.
Coffee.
Just more coffee, less sleep.
Yeah, I'm not a big coffee fan. I need to start drinking more coffee in that.
That is the secret. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you for that, Adam. We'll certainly ask you again, maybe in a few shows, to remind everyone who's listening. You've only got a few guys at the moment, but I'm sure people who will rewatch the show will listen back to this. James, tell us a bit about yourself, about how you got involved in property, about your time in Wilson & Co, and your duties and what you do.
Okay. So I've been now involved in the estate agency world, if you like, since the 1st of October 2017, so just over 2 years. Dan and Abby Wilson were sort of, I knew of them about 5-6 years ago. They'd worked in the industry a long time, set up their own independent letting agency. And yeah, basically we had a couple of conversations a long time ago, sort of about a year after they started, and then another one about 3 years ago. And yeah, basically I've been there now for 2 years, and really, well, our model is built on, if you like, we Google regularly, why do people hate estate agents?
Okay.
Google it regularly.
What's the number one reason?
And we do. We're not allowed to swear. And we do the opposite.
Brilliant.
And we aspire to do the opposite.
Really good,
and that's it, really. So on a day-to-day basis, I have conversations with people about giving them advice and helping them move. It's as simple as that.
Brilliant.
Sometimes that's not the best outcome for us, but it's the best outcome for them, and that's all that matters, really.
So what did you do before you got involved in estate agency?
So from school, I went to university. I shouldn't have gone to university. Well, I should have gone to university, and I should have left after a year, because I'd have had the experience of being at university and then left. Then I went to work in London for a huge, multinational company, which everyone will know, called Unilever, that supplies most household products. I was there for a couple of years, worked another place in the city in London. Then I moved abroad. My family emigrated to Tenerife in November 2003. I followed in May 2004. I spent a little bit of time in property then, which I suppose became, if you like, my first insight when I was 23, 24.
Fair enough.
24, 25. And I did that for about 2 years. And then I set up a company which still goes today with my brother, which my sister also works on as well, which helps 18 to 30-year-olds work in basically party destinations across Europe.
Oh, okay, nice.
The likes of Ibiza, Ayia Napa, Zante, Tenerife, obviously where we live. So we set up in 2006, and it's still going today. So it's 13 years old now.
Amazing.
At its peak, we were taking over 1,500, 18 to, well, they were really 18 to 25, but 18 to 30 we called it. Over 1,500 away every single year.
Pretty good.
And that really, I mean, to be honest, even from my first job when I left uni, I've always been involved with jobs which helped people. I worked in pensions, which was helping out people, obviously, with their pensions benefits. Then obviously when I was abroad, we set up this company helping 18 to 30-year-olds work abroad. And obviously now in property, we, very much like yourself, Qasafi, and I know it's a little bit corny. It probably doesn't get used enough, actually. But we help people move on to the next chapter of their lives, and that's genuinely what our job is.
Yeah, totally agree.
And in all fairness, we get paid handsomely for doing it once we've done it. And I think that's rightfully so. In all fairness, I'm still on it. The owners of Wilson & Co to increase our fees, which is probably, people go, what, you bananas? But I think we should, because what we do is exceptional for people.
See, I was speaking to someone last weekend, and they kind of had a very negative attitude towards estate agencies. It is called the evil necessity.
I do love that, because it's sorry, go on, you carry on.
He thinks estate agencies are very transactional.
Yeah.
They don't care about the person, whether they're looking to sell their property or buy their property. Even it's the most important thing in one's life, move into your home, and when you've got someone who is making it transactional and has based it on that particular thing rather than yourself, that is really difficult for people to kind of absorb and digest. You know what I think?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I've heard that before, obviously, that estate agency is just a transaction, it's just a commission, it's just a fee. I've been involved in the industry for 2 years, but I've also now probably spoke to, I don't know how many, but probably I'd say 1,000 people, maybe in Peterborough, who've moved home, either in the last couple of years or the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And still today, there's agencies, more of the corporate nature, that are maybe doing things, well, they are doing things incorrectly, that are literally based around what is in it for them as an agency, i.e., can I get a referral for a mortgage? Can I get a referral for life insurance off that mortgage, mortgage cover, conveyancing, and legal costs, etc. Can I get a £500, whatever you want to call it, premium marketing fee for a certain type of listing with professional photography? And when the reality is, they are all uplifted things, which is to make a quick buck.
Yeah, I think the worst one is, sorry to interject there, the worst one is you can't buy this house unless you use our mortgage services.
That's illegal for a start.
Yeah,
it is illegal.
Yeah,
I understand that their argument might be we're just trying to look after the interest of the person that we're selling the home for. And that's why people really, when they go out and look at properties and want to put offer in properties, they should all have their ducks in a row, so to speak, and they should have everything ready so that when somebody comes to them with that question, they can go boom, 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 here's what I need, I will look at that house. And if anybody ever gets stopped from looking at a house and they have everything in place, just go knock on the homeowner's door and let the agent who's looking after it deal with the consequences. Or give me a call and we'll knock the door for them.
Brilliant. So you've been in the estate agency industry for 2 years.
Yep.
And your kind of ethos is, like you mentioned, helping people move rather than trying to sell a house.
Correct.
You see, last year I went to a boot camp, a Perry Powers boot camp.
PP.
Big PP. We're all big fans of PP here.
Good man.
Helped me a lot in my estate agency, and I know you kind of learned a lot from him too, and you kind of implemented it into your business, and it's worked absolutely amazingly well. When I went there, a lot of people may have watched this advert. It's a Thompson's advert, Tui's.
Yeah.
You've probably seen the advert.
Wow, yeah. Extremely emotional, actually.
It is really, really, I think the way they portray their kind of business model, it differentiates them to the competition.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's. I think Adam mentioned it earlier in the show. How would you like to be treated?
Yeah, precisely.
Whatever happens, whether you go and buy if you go and buy a coffee from Starbucks, have got it nailed. They're almost overkill on niceness, but they've got it nailed. And the only times you ever see it complained about is when somebody's name's been spelt wrong. Now, no one ever goes, "Oh, they're too nice in there." You know what I mean? No. So they overkill it, and it's the same with that Thompson's advert about somebody goes, in brief for those who are listening, somebody goes in, tries to book holiday, the person behind the counter doesn't really care, just wants to get home from work, not really interested, and then she looks at it from an alternative perspective of that mum then going home, seeing her, being disappointed, the child's disappointed, and then looks at it from a different light of what it would be like for them to have their dream holiday. And then
but she encounters karma where she goes out for dinner.
Yeah, and gets treated badly.
By the waitress.
Exactly.
And then she's like, wait a minute, this is karma because I treated my, customer really bad.
Yeah.
And this is the way I'm being treated. So.
Yeah, no, and as I say, all we, can ever do is try to, and as Adam says, just treat people when you're dealing with them on a work basis, and also, when you're dealing with people's properties. Most of the time it's their most valuable asset in their lives, and it's also where their families have been born and bred and built up, and some homes that we've helped, if they've been family homes for over 40 years, how much emotion I'm 40 next year, and you know, if I've been in the same property for 40, that house is filled with ridiculous amount of emotions. And probably whilst you're even still selling it, you're thinking, is this the right thing to do? Do you know what I mean? Because there's that much emotion in there. And listen, you have to understand that, and you have to you have to just try and help people with it. It's like, I'm sure you come across separations. Separations is a huge one. It's extremely testing and difficult, and sometimes I do slightly feel, but I genuinely don't mind, that I'm bordering on the verge of being a slight marriage counsellor, which is fine, and I love doing stuff like that. But I'm a thorough believer in what Adam said. Just look after people the way that you'd want to be looked after if you were doing that.
And are you enjoying your job?
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Always busy every time I hear you. James, how you doing? Absolutely amazing, Qasafi. I'm like, James, what you want, mate? Give me a bit of that.
You mentioned Perry Power, but
20 seconds. Tell us, mate. What is the secret ingredient?
You mentioned Perry Power. I came across Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, about 2.5 years ago, and he bangs on about positivity always wins, and kindness is the ultimate strength, and I try to live by those as much as I possibly can. Amazing.
Well, James, thank you ever so much for coming into the studio today. Hopefully we'll see you next month. Again, guys,
first Tuesday every month.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you for listening to us, guys. Our time is now up. If there's anything that you want us to discuss about the Peterborough property market, then please get in touch. Next week our special guest is John Paul, who is a senior board man of order. And the topic that we're going to be discussing is this the end of the no-fault Section 21 evictions for the 34,000 Peterborough tenants? So, guys, tune in next week for it. You can rewatch this show on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us today on Slam Radio. Until next week, same time, same place, from myself and Adam and James, you are listening to the Peterborough Property
Guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.